Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thursday to you all. Today we're going to be reviewing several companies' earnings. We're going to start with Shopify, then Barrick Gold, Generac, and Roku. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So we're going to start with Shopify first. The reported earnings were 7 cents with the earnings whisper number of 1 cent and market consensus of a loss of 1 cent per share. The reported revenue was 1.73 billion with the estimated revenue of 2.21 billion. So a significant miss on a percentage base for the revenue, and as you can expect, the stock basically on after hours has sold off. We are in a massive right candle on the day. Everything that you gained for the past 4 days, basically what I call a run up and sell off. They run up on the expectation of good earnings. When they don't get that earnings, then you return back to the price where you start running up. Seeing how Shopify has kind of created a base around this area right here, and that it has bounced in this region of $48, $47, I'd be cautious to try to dip buy this opportunity, but we have seen crazier things in the market right now. I personally don't like buying companies that have missed revenue. It just naturally, if they miss revenue now, what expectation could you have in the future of them buying? However, let's go over some key resistance and support areas for Shopify. If we look at what Luxalgo is telling us, we are forming a base around this area of $47.70. However, once we break this and start heading lower, there's not a lot of support structure here. You got a gap at $42 to $40. Once we start filling in this price action zone here, then definitely we're gonna be heading lower. To me, with Shopify, once you start breaking that $47 price point, so you got $1 to go, I don't see a lot of support here. Next buying opportunity, I'll probably see in this consolidation that was here before, of targeting $40 to possibly even $35. The true dip buy on the stock probably be at $32, and even if you manage to get down to the 25s, definitely something to consider. If we look at the weekly looks pretty ugly to me. You have an area of consolidation where you had an inside bar. Now you have almost broken that inside bar, could be heading lower. Like we said, that $33 range is probably where I'd be targeting. So also let's take a look what the MACD RSI is telling us. You, on the run up, you were trending bullish on the MACD, trying to curl to one another, trying to cross, same with RSI. But now that you're down here breaking below, I would suspect this converges and then diverges down lower, same with RSI. So definitely more possible downside for the company as I see it. You almost have a double top action here, top here, and that top here. Bearish overall. The volume going into earnings was high, and then trading today even higher, but I don't see a lot of support for the company until we start getting down into these levels of $40 to $35. Next, we're going to go over Generac. So with Generac, you have a reported earnings of $1.78. Earning whisper expectation was 1.73, and then market consensus 1.7. So it beat on EPS. For a revenue of 1.05 billion with a estimate 1.07, so slight miss on revenue, but not totally too bad. Let's see how the stock did on the day. As you can see, Generac basically pushed up into earnings and actually held. So something that they said possibly in the press conference confirmed the stock's evaluation that investors were holding. So it is trending up here. You are uptrending right now, forming what possibly is a channel right here. However, and you started filling in this gap zone here that we have. So Generac could actually run all the way up to $147.37, filling this gap that was formed off of previous drop right here. So definitely bullish, a bullish uptrend, bullish gap there. Slowly gap filling. We nearly completed the gap fill today, but failed to complete that. You do have to be cautious of retracing back down to this area right here where you do have a gap on the daily candle, which was the gap up from earnings. The bottom of that gap is 127.62. Basically, I would see us retesting this region soon because of that gap. You've pushed up significantly in earnings. You probably consolidate around this region and possibly retest this upward trend line. It'd be nice to see a night retest of this region along with filling this gap at the same time. That would be overall bullish. So now let's see what the other charts are telling us. Generac on the daily, you are crossed bullish on the MACD. You are heading towards overbought territory on the RSI, so I definitely be on the lookout for possible reversal, but I do believe you still have more upside, especially with that gap zone there. Secondly, you are starting to trend into this reversal zone, so I'd be cautious but optimistic that we are going to continue higher. Your volume is trending up bullish, increasing volume day over day into earnings, so we have to see continuation now. MACD, like I said before, across bullish. So definitely some more uptrend. I probably, like we said, taking profit around the $150 range for Generac and seeing what the weekly looks. So Generac on the weekly has a nice uptrend on the MACD. You're starting to cross bullish. Your RSI crossed bullish just recently on the last week. So definitely, like we said, possible upside. Trying to reclaim this mass sell-off from previously. Overall, short-term bullish trend. I would look to retest that region of the $150 range and then have a pullback, or possibly have a pullback sooner than then. But overall, bullish on the day. And you are starting to head for those SMAs. My big problem with Generac is that you're below the 200, so your overall price is lower, and this company was a massive push up back down to pre-2020 levels. So you have to invest with caution in this one. However, for the short term, I definitely be looking at a bullish opportunity here, possible swing trade, or a retest of this upper trend line for the bounce. Next, we're going to go over Roku. Roku reported earnings of negative $1.70. The earnings estimate was $1.67, and the consensus for the market was a negative 1.73. The reported revenue was $867.1 million, with estimated at $803 million. So a significant beat on revenue, which is the true important thing. And Roku has actually been in a significant downtrend from all-time highs. If we look at the weekly and zoom out, this thing has just been selling off since the beginning of 2020. Another bubble company that you're down almost from all-time highs, 86%. You're below all the moving averages. You did have what I would consider a short squeeze on this. Roku is a very shorted company. You have significant upside when all those shorts are trying to cover. You did almost have what could be taken as an inverted head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline. You popped above it. You're actually above your 200-day moving average on the daily. So if you manage to close above $68.16 today, that would be a significant trend change, and then we could start seeing higher price exploration. If we get rejected off of the 50 weekly, then we could most likely get rejected off there because it is a previous area of resistance right here. So something to possibly take note on open today for Roku, but we have to see how all this turns out and what the charts tell us. You guys know my view of companies that are below the 200-day weekly moving average. I don't like to invest in them, and there's significant more downside risk than upside risk. For a swing trade, I think Roku is a little too high for my liking right here, but if we manage to get above this 50 weekly, I'd definitely be seeing a further price exploration, and my stop loss would just constantly be moving with that 50 weekly once we broke below it. So let's take a look at what Luxalgo is telling us. And it's pretty much a freaking crazy bearishness on the stock for Luxalgo and everything that we're in the current prices. Our MACD will have crossed over on open today, but you are in a reversal zone in the cloud, in a previous supply zone. RSI is going to definitely be overbought. This is where you hit sell and you exit your position. If you're in it, congratulations, you just had a nice 20% profit from the last 2 days. Let's say 22%. Massive run, a lot of shorts covering, and probably get more covering tomorrow, but I would definitely be taking profit. Definitely take profit on this and get out. Look for a better setup, because this is just an absolute freaking train wreck. On the daily chart, you pushed up, you had the inverted head and shoulders, but you're heading into all this resistance. I wouldn't be buying here. If I was in a position, I'd take my profits, take it and run. That's what I would view Roku as. I think it has, again, significant downside. Now, if you get above the 50 weekly, then we can talk about it, but I do see a significant pullback coming for the company once we close off earnings season and that consolidation kind of turns back down. Next, we're going to do Barrick Gold. All right, so the reported earnings was 13 cents. The earnings whisper was 15 cents, and the consensus for the market was 12 cents. The reported revenue was 2.77 billion with an estimated 3.15, so a miss on revenue there. And as expected, the stock has sold off after earnings with massive red volume on the earnings. Gap down, you're down about estimated 4% on the day, and probably going to continue once you broke below this 200-day moving average. However, we need 2 candle closes below this moving average. So if you close today below $17.28, this is one of those stocks I would be possibly considering getting out of. You're below all the moving averages, and this can turn into a pretty big landslide down. If we look to see if we have any harmonics, we have a massive harmonic pattern here where you basically swing here down to A, B, projecting down of a price point of $7.21. If this harmonic pattern completes, this would be a significant downside to the stock. And let's take a look at how realistic that is and what Luxalgo is telling us. So on the daily, you are in a demand zone, possibly coming into here at the $16.34. Your RSI is significantly overstretched along with MACD turning bearish. So to me, it's a pretty simple trade. If we hit about 1668 and then push back up above the 200-day moving average, that'd be an interesting swing up. If we break below 1647, we invalidate the zone. Next stop, probably $15.33. Now, if we are on the swing up, I'd definitely be looking to stop out around the $19 to $20 price point because you have a demand zone there. I would like to almost see the stock interact with the zone before I get in to confirm the upside trend, because you had a significant miss on earnings. So I like to see what people are thinking the stock's going to bottom out and then get in, rather than trying to buy the opportunity just to get stopped out. That's just my personal 2 cents, but we have to see how we interact that with that 200 and if the stock continues, because anything can stay oversold for a significant amount of time. It does not have to necessarily tick back up, but it has the possibility to, so we have to be aware of that. So overall, it's a wait and see, sit on your hands situation for this stock, because you are in this demand zone, but you need to see how it interacts. Breaking below the 200, but possible upside because you're oversold and overextended. Next, we're going to go into some viewer requested tickers. So Tony has requested HCC, so let's take a look at that. HCC, I do see a bullish trend with this. From my initial impressions of this, MACD is crossed bullish, heading into bullish territory. RSI is barely almost over the 50 level where it starts becoming bullish. You have a weak high right here along with break of support, break of structure. So if this continues higher, I'd definitely be looking at possibly exiting around the $43 region, seeing if we can get up to there. You may even get a blue sky breakout. If I take a look, previous resistance 42.82, that's probably where I'd be looking to possibly have a nice pullback once this MACD pulls back down. But if you continue past that point, I would definitely be looking for significantly more upside. And based on what I just saw on the weekly, where our MACD on the weekly is crossing bullish, you're having a lot of institution moving into this on the bullish side, and RSI is on the bullish side. I definitely could see a further uptick in this trend in the short term and possibly even the long term. Let's quickly take a look at the SMAs. So this is exactly what we want to see. Above all the moving averages, above the 50, 200s kind of crossed a little diverged off of the weekly. However, that you've been consolidating with it for an extended period of time, so that's not too much of a red flag. Pushing higher, you are heading, like I said, into this area of supply, but we could see if people actually take the opportunity to sell. I could definitely see a further blue sky breakout, especially with earnings being today where you pushed up higher. Definitely something that could continue that movement higher. So overall, very bullish. Ruben requested ICHR, so we're going to take a look at that. So right here, you are above the 200 weekly moving average. You actually just got back above it, so that's very bullish right there. Your moving averages are starting to go higher. The one thing I do see a concern is you have decreasing volume on the daily, so possible reversal or reversal to the upside coming, since you are technically in a downtrend right there for a short period of time. Let's take a look at what the Luxalgo is telling us. So right here, I'm looking at MACD curling towards one another, crossing possibly bullish, RSI crossing bullish, possibly heading into oversold territory. We could possibly break the supply zone right here at $36 and push up higher. Once you break 37.82, that's where I would see a continuation higher, targeting around this region of $41, $42. We have to see where MACD takes you along with RSI and people's willingness to buy. You want to see price and volume confirm that, but you're in a bullish uptrend. Definitely something that I could see going well. I did also notice that you did sell off on earnings, but you are finding support in this area and consolidating, so you are accumulating volume. However, if you break down to the downside of below 43.55, I would then be looking for my next support possibly at 32.40. And once we break that, I don't see a lot of price action that could support you, maybe at $30, but then I'd be looking at $25.81 to the downside. So with that, guys, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Throw a ticker down that you want us to review, and we'll see you for tomorrow's morning video on more companies' earnings.